You changed your management relationship, and on controversial terms. And I've met Barry McGuigan and I've met Shane McGuigan, and I'm surprised at the challenges that seem to have come your way, because Barry struck me in the time that I've spent with him as being fundamentally quite a decent bloke. Sets up the PBA with the best interests of boxers in mind, talking about the medical conditions that boxers should have to experience ringside, looks at pensions so that boxers are looked after outside the ring. I am interested to understand the nature of your breakdown with Barry McGuigan.
Money was something that was obviously a concern in my initial relationship with Barry. And the stuff that you said about him being a decent guy, I once thought about all that sort of stuff, but I know him better than most people on the planet, apart from his close family. I've been around him for so much, and I was fed up at the end when I left Barry. I was waiting on paydays for way too long. I was getting big expenses bills that were nothing to do with my fights. There was someone, as a director of Cyclone Promotions, which I once was.
Yeah.
There was a VAT man turned up at my door looking 397 grand. So that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me.
Do you not? I mean, these are experiences that you've got, and I'm not here to deny or decry them. And I'm assuming you've had legal battles, and someone's come out with an outcome, right?
Yeah.
How much are you guys culpable for not paying attention to your own business? You talked about being naive.
Yeah.
Has that really made you much more worldly and wise now about the reality of the circumstances?
Yeah, I think that I'm a wiser person from what went on, but boxers need to take a bit of responsibility that if this stuff's going on, then you're allowing it to happen, really. But you got to remember the vast majority of boxers come from a background of working class families, no idea about business. At the time, the thing with me and Barry and all the McGuigans was trust. I loved these people and I trusted them with everything, and to the point where, contracts were put in front of me and I just signed them because Barry was asking me to sign it, and I trust this man. He's not going to screw me. I never had any legal advice.
But how did you get into a situation? I mean, is it right that as you've just described, you have an implicit and explicit trust? And I think that's very unique to your sport to some extent, because you're putting your hands sometimes in the lives of your trainer, so I can understand that relationship. How did you get yourself in a situation where you became privy to what you are beginning to think is people taking money that belongs to you? You're not in a situation where you're getting the kind of benefits from fights that you had anticipated.
Yeah.
How did that come? How did you become aware of that?
Well, people start to talk about it around the Quigg fight. They kind of laughed at. So the split in the Quigg fight was in my favour. It should have been 60-40, but it was that we give a little bit, and it was 57.5 and 42.5 in my favour. And I remember Scott Quigg making a point of, and I mean, I've been someone who's criticised Scott Quigg for being a bit daft.
Yeah.
But he made the point to me that although you're getting a higher percentage, I'm getting more money out of this fight than you are. So in a sense, I was the daft one. So whispers started to happen and people started to make these little snide comments. I'm waiting. There was purses where I'm waiting sometimes 11 months to receive my purse. Right. I went into the first Santa Cruz fight waiting on the Quigg payday. Haven't been paid for Quigg yet. And I went into the second Santa Cruz fight having not been paid for the first one. Now, there's not many fighters would do that.
But what's the explanation?
The explanation was, at the time, I used to get fed this line, we're trying to give it to you the most tax efficient way possible, whatever that means. Like, the McGuigans aren't accountants. My accountants sort that sort of stuff out. But again, it was just a naivety and a trust, and maybe starting to think that maybe just not wanting to believe that these guys were messing me about a bit. I didn't want to believe it. Maybe telling myself that I hope I'm wrong here. I hope this isn't what it looks like.
But given this relationship with you, and I see Barry's relationship with fighters on the side of fights, I see the joy and the exuberance that both Shane and Barry had, and you might say because they're going to get some money out of it, I suppose, in the Chris Billam-Smith.
Yeah.
And I hear Chris Billam-Smith talking precisely like you about you, the version of you that had a relationship with Barry, about the absolute nature and strength and trust and love he has for the McGuigan family, and how he is where he is in all levels.
Yeah.
Because of Barry, because of Shane, because of the McGuigan family and what they've done to support him. They're like a second family. Why would Barry behave towards you with so much in common, such a background to have shared? Okay, you're a Protestant, he's a Catholic, but that's incidental. You both come from a very fiercely proud community with both great values in life. Why would he have done these things to you?
You'd have to ask him that. I'm not sure.
Well, why do you? Okay, well, I'm asking you why you think he would have done it.
I think of a lot of it. I think greed and ego played a part.
Why now? Why you reawaken this feud with Barry now?
Genuinely, that's not my intention. Genuinely, I've
Is it because you've got a book to sell?
Yeah, well, it's been a long process. The book, I've been doing it for quite a while. One of the reasons, and I think that obviously the court case features a lot and heavily in the book, and takes up a substantial amount of the book. The court case happened during COVID, and I don't think it was reported on correctly. It was 19 days of a trial, and I used to remember rushing home to watch the UTV and the BBC Northern Ireland News. You know, something big has been discovered in court. They're going to talk about this, and it was just missed.
Right.
It would have been. I mean, it was high profile in Belfast, Northern Ireland, because of the relationship with me and Barry, but maybe not so much over here. But the courtroom would have been packed if it was allowed to be, and there would have been a lot more attention around it. So this is my way of giving my side of the story as well. But there's more than that. It's not just that.
Did it take a lot out of you?
Yeah. The court case did. The book, not so much. The book was actually cathartic.
That's what I meant, being in the court case.
Yeah, that did. I remember I was cross-examined, I think, for about 5 days, which was a long time.
Interesting. I've done it as well. I've been in the witness box for 3 hours on a fraud case, so I know what it's like.
It was the worst experience of my life. When you have a barrister who, in my opinion, their QC, a guy called Liam Collum, big, tall, 6'5", tall, overbearing like figure, aggressive, I thought, in his nature and how.
Well, his job is to get you unsettled.
Yeah,
get things out of your mouth he doesn't want. You don't want.
Yeah, but it was like he asked you a question, you answered, and he just called me a liar. That's what it felt to me. My QC was a bit more. He had a different tact. He was brilliant. A guy called Gavin Miller, and he kind of. I thought at times he'd kind of had Barry and Barry McGuigan wrapped up and kind of tied them up in knots. Very, very smart man. But that whole process, after I was cross-examined, it was okay. I could sit back and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But them 5 days, horrible,
it's an interesting experience.
Horrible experience.
Ironically, it was an Irishman. A Northern Irishman, Ian Dowie, I took to court for fraud, and I had 3 days in the witness box.
Yeah.
Can you see a situation where you and the McGuigans ever let bygones be bygones, or you forgive?
No. I think, that's the easy answer. No, I think that the trust is just, it's gone. It's completely, it's gone. And there's been a lot of, I suppose, a bit of back and forth and people saying different things in the press, and there's a lot of attention around this book, probably. I imagine if you ask them the same question, they'll say no.
With the book now, no, probably, absolutely.
Yeah, but no, that once that trust is gone and broken, you're not getting that back.